Roscommon still lead by a point. Their team and their supporters shocked by the sending off for Seamus O'Neill. This is Derek McCormick of Kildare. They're a point behind. It's played into space towards Pádraig Hurley. Has to check back. Derek McCormick again. McCormick now to Pádraig Brennan. And there was some fouling in there, and it's a free into Kildare. John Doyle will certainly equalise, I'm sure, from this.
I would think that's a soft enough free in, actually, because the Roscommon defenders got around the player with the ball that time, and I felt myself, I don't think really there was a free in that case.
Well, just as John Doyle lines this up for Kildare, you may have got a shot there of Ronan Sweeney just going forward, telling his teammates just to calm down. They're only a point behind. Roscommon are down to 14. Kildare will know all about that from last week. John Doyle just hooks it over, curled over beautifully by the Kildare captain. Level for a sixth time. Is extra time looming still? Plenty of time left for play here in Portlaoise.
And now with the one-man advantage, it seems to me that Brian Lacey is going to be the extra man playing in front of the full-back line, between the full-back and half-back line. Yes, I think Pádraig Nolan actually is on the pitch at the moment, trying to get, I think it is Andrew McLaughlin to actually take up that role.
Pádraig Nolan very far in on the pitch. He's scampering back towards the line. That's Brian Higgins, who's come on to the Roscommon team for Derek Kennellan. Pádraig Hurley of Kildare. All tied up here in Portlaoise for a sixth time. Shane Curran way out off his line, had to get to it and did. That was very fine goalkeeping. And again, the stuff going on off the ball. Here's Shane Curran. Maybe wants to swap jerseys with one of his teammates and play outfield. Morgan Byrne. Halted by Eamon Callaghan. Mick Wright and now Killian Brennan. And he's got lots of space to work in. Been closed down. Morgan Byrne couldn't get near. Look at the pace of Brian Lacey. John Doyle. Crucial time in this All-Ireland qualifier. Pádraig Brennan again. Has to go over from Pádraig Hurley. No, that's a bad wide. It's the fifth only. Roscommon have had 8. But you really feel that's a disappointing effort. Just under 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, just at the moment, maybe they rushed that somewhat. I still think there was a little bit more time to unload that shot or to give it to a better placed colleague. And again, that little bit of composure will be necessary now over the next 10 minutes.
Stephen Lohan coming short for the kick out. Did that quite a lot in the match against Offaly. Haven't seen it so much here, but it guarantees them possession. How will they use it? Francie Grehan. Kildare flooding defenders back. Grehan has held on to it. Jonathan Dunning away from Glenn Ryan. Mick Wright helped to take it from him, and Kildare come up with the ball. John Doyle. Quick one in towards Pádraig Brennan. He's got away from John White. Tadhg Fennan is there close by. Ken Donnelly too. Now Fennan has it for Kildare. Eamon Towie out there. 3 players, 2 of them unmarked in the centre, and it's gone over. Great point for Kildare. And for Tadhg Fennan, his second. And at this crucial time in the match, Kildare have got a point clear.
Great admiration for them. They're straining every sinew at the moment, putting everything they have into the game. And actually, with the man extra, they're probably at a little bit of an advantage. But just watch Fennan this time. Handling bad initially, but gets onto his favoured left foot from a difficult angle. Fine shot, just creeps over the bar with the aid of the crossbar.
5 times in this match the lead has changed. We've been level something like 6. How much more can you handle? Shane Curran trying to lift the Roscommon supporters, feeling they've gone a little quiet. Now they're making noise. His side are behind. A place in the quarterfinals up for grabs. John Doyle out over the line. Line ball to Roscommon. You can't really mark somebody any tighter than that, can you? Francie Graham to John Tiernan, the Roscommon goal scorer. Carol Mannion operating much deeper out the field. Frankie Dolan couldn't take it. Ronan Sweeney handled it on the ground under pressure from Stephen Lohan. Michael Collins has given a free in, and Ronan Sweeney down injured. Treatment coming on.
Yes, panicked a little bit that time, definitely touched the ball on the ground, and again gives Frankie Dolan a great opportunity to bring the teams level.
Well, look at it again. Foot wasn't underneath the ball. Spotted by referee Michael Collins. Frankie Dolan has kicked 4 out of 7 from frees. This one, so important. Kildare, well, their lead may not last long.
Yes, I'm just wondering, actually, is Stephen Lohan going to take this one, or is he going to wait for Frankie to lace his boot?
Well, he's left it for Frankie. That familiar setup at this stage. 5 points in the match. This one so important that it goes over. The fans behind like it. The white flag is raised. Level for a 7th time here in Portlaoise. Kildare 14, Roscommon 111. 28 on for Roscommon. That's Nigel Deneen. 13 goes off. Jonathan Dunning, who scored a very fine point, you might remember, in the first half. Brian Lacey launches it forward. Underneath it, Derek McCormack, but David Casey there as well. Lohan, they move it out. Carol Mannion. Francie Graham. Ray Cox. This is John White now. Kildare still full of running, trying to close down the Roscommon options. Francie Graham loves to take the ball into a challenge. Gary Cox, now Morgan Byrne, the right half-back. Bounces off Brian Lacey. Tyke Fennan is back there. Kildare, well, a little vigorous in the challenge, over-vigorous, and they've given away the free. Glenn Ryan getting involved, and Roscommon with the 14 men can go ahead.
Yeah, and that's great play by Roscommon that time. Patient build-up, holding the ball, making sure they held possession of the ball, moving it from one side to the other, and then eventually drawing the free. An example of how to use a situation when you're down a man.
So, Frankie Dolan scored a very important free a couple of minutes ago. This to give Roscommon the lead outside of the right boot. He's put it wide. 9th.
Might be the 9th, but I think it's Frankie's 3rd from a free in the second half, which would be very disappointing considering he scored 12 in the last game against, I think it was Offaly.
Terry Rossiter from Carbery coming into the Kildare team. Ken Donnelly is going the other way as Morgan Byrne receives treatment. Roscommon down to 14 when Seamus O'Neill was sent off for his 2nd yellow. We understand the replay of that incident, not very conclusive at all. Well, Michael Collins, the referee, knows why he gave O'Neill a 2nd yellow, and that became a red. Roscommon down to 14, and it's tied at 14 points apiece. Roscommon 111, Kildare 14 points. Heading towards the end of normal time. Mick Wright. Padraig Hurley. Hurley trying to get around Morgan Byrne and then just lost the ball. Francie Graham. Brian Higgins helps it forward. This is Stephen Lohan. Really is such an absorbing contest. So hard to call a winner at this stage. Gary Cox brings Eamon Towie into the attack. Still hanging on, drawing another free.
Yeah, Kildare will be very disappointed with the lack of movement in their full forward line. That's one of the reasons why they're being bottled up and why they're turning over possession, because they're not managing to get loose men in the full forward line.
Only 12 frees awarded against Kildare against Laois. Well, now they've conceded 20 against Roscommon. That's launched in towards Nigel Dineen, a player who's struggled for fitness this year but loves the big occasion. But that time the decision goes against him under pressure from Andrew McLaughlin. A line ball to Kildare, and we understand there'll be 2 extra minutes at the end of the 70 to be added on. Roscommon had to go to extra time to beat Offaly by 5 3 weeks ago. Kildare had such an energy-sapping game on a much bigger pitch than this at Croke Park in the Leinster final. Tadhg Fennan, the sides are all square. Fennan, was he pushed to the ground by Ray Cox? He still hangs on to the ball, battling away, but then just lost it, and it's a free out. There were 2 frees there. The referee penalised Fennan for the second foul.
That's great defending by Ray Cox that time. Held his ground, didn't fall for the dummy that Fennan was trying to sell him, and dispossessed Fennan. Great play.
Well, Ray Cox actually down injured. Yellow card for Tadhg Fennan. Now, if you're talking about extra time, 2 10-minute periods, of course, the players on yellow cards, they'll carry forward into the extra time. But Roscommon will be able to bring their team back up to 15. 7th yellow in the game. This is Tadhg Fennan and Ray Cox. Lost control of the ball. That was 1 foul. There's the other. Heading into the last minute of normal time here in Portlaoise. It's been a superb game. Will we be treated to another 20 minutes? John White. Or will we have a winner? 2 minutes of stoppage time to be added on, and Roscommon at this late stage really can't afford to give up possession that easily.
Yes, that's a big disappointment. It must be said that Roscommon are managing to keep the ball down in the Kildare half very, very effectively. And again, as I said, there's still an absence of movement up front for Kildare.
Padraig Hurley. At this late stage, the position's not meaning an awful lot. Players just trying to help out. Here's Gary Cox of Roscommon to Frankie Dolan. Inside is Stephen Lowe, and he can seal it for Roscommon. Great save! Enda Murphy has kept his team in the championship, no doubt about it. Stephen Lohan went for the goal. Murphy pulled off a great save. He made some fantastic stops against Meath in the Leinster semi-final, but that one absolutely priceless. Here's Ronan Sweeney of Kildare. Can they win it? Into stoppage time. Playing the first minute of 2 to be added on. Here comes Padraig Brennan. Brennan sets himself. The Kildare fans like it. It's gone over. Kildare lead by a point. What a turnaround. Lohan could have won it for Roscommon. Padraig Brennan, helped by Ronan Sweeney and others, goes down the other end. Enda Murphy, what a save that was. Roscommon have a free. Can't panic now at this stage. Francie Grehan launches it in towards Nigel Dineen. Brian Lacey is there. Dineen has it. Support outside. Carol Mannion is there. Also Brian Higgins. This is Brian Higgins on the left boot. Wide. No. Carol Mannion was perhaps better placed inside, but, well, he had the courage to go for it, Brian Higgins, and missed.
Maybe the wrong man got the ball that time. Nigel, had he held on to the ball and had a go himself, might have been maybe more successful. But again, it's amazing how a game can swing on an incident like the miss there by Stephen Lohan. Great opportunity, and the point then at the far side.
Roscommon, that was their 10th wide. Will they get one more chance? Brian Higgins again. His evening not shaping up well. Killian Brennan of Kildare. They were absolutely destroyed, having lost against Laois in an epic Leinster final last week. They've composed themselves. They didn't start here particularly well. Brian Lacey, has it even gone wide yet? No. Trying to hang on to it is Terry Rossiter. Rossiter has it. Fouled it on the ground. Free to Roscommon, and this is last chance stuff. Under 20 seconds to go. Shane Curran. John Tiernan. Shane Curran deciding to stay out of his goal. Now he's heading back. Morgan Byrne. Now Frankie Dolan. This really is it for Roscommon. They are a point behind. Frankie Dolan, has he got it? Yes, he has. We are heading for extra time. Level for the 8th time. It really had to go over from Frankie Dolan. He's missed a couple of bad ones, a few frees, but that is simply class. 15 points, Roscommon 112. We're heading for 2 10-minute periods of extra time.
That's a miracle point, and talk about balls and courage to take on that shot. Wonderful score.
There is the full-time whistle. Kildare 15 points, Roscommon 112 is how it's finished. We're heading for extra time. The players absolutely shattered. Roscommon, they had to go to extra time against Offaly. Kildare will be very tired after what happened in Croke Park last week. We're going to have to do it again. 2 10-minute periods of extra time. Full-time score is Kildare.
Roscommon.
Here come Roscommon again. David Casey, the fullback. Stephen Lohan, welcome back to the first period of extra time in this epic qualifier. Roscommon lead by a point after a 45 from Frankie Dolan. Roscommon 113, Kildare 15 points. Roscommon still attacking. Nigel Dineen lays it off to Frankie Dolan. It's gone over again. He is on fire. Scored 12 against Offaly. He's approaching in on that now. It's his 9th point. Superb score.
Yeah, and again, the involvement that time of Nigel Dineen is significant. Came in the last couple of minutes of normal time. His assist set up the point. Great score from Dolan once again.
Roscommon, remember, back up to their full quota of 15. Seamus O'Neill not permitted to play in the extra time, but they've brought Jonathan Dunning back on, and Michael Ryan has replaced John White. Morgan Byrne, it's very high, and it's gone wide. He's the right half-back. They're 11th wide. The Roscommon supporters not happy with that.
Yeah, Morgan Byrne has been very effective in the second half of normal time, and again now raiding up along that right flank.
Good catch by Brian Higgins. In towards Nigel Dineen, causing problems for Damien Hendy. Remember, the yellow cards, players on yellow cards picked up in normal time, they carry forward into extra time. Francie Grehan has one of those. He'll have to be careful. Another yellow and he's gone. Frankie Dolan again. Off the upright. Denied by the slimmest of margins, Frankie Dolan. Here come Kildare. Must be a lot of very tired players out there on the Kildare team. Free in, John Doyle, the captain. Down on the ground is David Casey. Kildare have 4 players on yellow cards, which are still valid. Damien Hendy, Killian Brennan, Ronan Sweeney and Tig Fennan. It's cramped more than anything else as far as David Casey is concerned. Eddie McCormack is about to come in for John Doyle. Here is John Doyle. Can he leave on a high? No. It's only their 6th wide. They've been quite efficient in front of goal. Well, John Doyle was disputing whether or not this was in fact wide.
I think it's inconclusive, although I think to be fair to the umpire, he was in the right position. Definitely probably went wide.
Eddie McCormack on to the Kildare team, another link, and there aren't too many left out there with the 98 team that got to the All-Ireland final. This Kildare team, very much a new side, built by Padraig Nolan, his first year in charge. That's a great take by Carol Mannion. Big contribution to the Roscommon cores in the first half of normal time. This is Stephen Lohan. Lohan plays it into Jonathan Dunning. Has Nigel Dineen in support. They've given away another free. Damien Hendy claiming it was a fair shoulder. Glenn Ryan close by, and Jonathan Dunning, who was taken off in normal time, is back on. He's been fouled.
Yeah, the ball comes in this time all right to Dunning, and I think Damien Hendy panics a little bit, takes him down. Correct decision to give a free in. Again, it's one of the things actually that Kildare have prided themselves on, is their ability to tackle with discipline, but today it seems to have deserted them, and it probably, Dara, to be fair, is down to tiredness.
Roscommon have been awarded 24 frees, twice as many as Kildare gave to Laois in the Leinster final last week. This to take Frankie Dolan into double figures. He's done it, and it's looking good for Roscommon here in Portlaoise. It's his 10th point, and that is Roscommon's 6th chance in the first period of extra time. We've only been playing for 7 minutes. Kildare have only had one. It'll give you an idea of just how much in control of this game Roscommon are now.
Yeah, similar to the game against Offaly, actually, when they ran into a very impressive lead in the first half of extra time, but they're really turning the screw at the moment.
Francie Graham. Derek McCormick picking that up. This is Eddie McCormick. Moving it wide, Padraig Brennan fouled, but it's a good way away from the Roscommon goal. It was Gary Cox who committed the foul. 1 extra minute at the end of the first 10 to be added on. Eddie McCormick, that needed to go over. Shane Curran almost caught that while he was standing still and looking very relaxed about it. Eamon Towie, Gary Cox. Roscommon, well, at the start of the year they had designs, of course, on the Connacht title, but after that, and in this qualifier series, it's become a bid to get to play a match in Croke Park. Morgan Byrne suffering from fatigue at the moment. Brian Higgins. Stephen Lohan. Now Eamon Towie. Towie lifts it forward. Jonathan Dunning can't get to that. Andrew McLaughlin with him. Padraig Hurley. Now Glenn Ryan. Asking a lot of Glenn Ryan, who's been troubled by injury, to compete for all this time, but he'll want to do it. Well taken by Michael Ryan. Francie Graham. All over the field at the moment. Roscommon are on top. 1:15 to 15. They lead by a clear goal. Stephen Lohan bringing in Brian Higgins. Carol Mannion. That's not going to trouble Enda Murphy in the Kildare goal. Wide number 12.
Yes, certainly they're very much in control at the moment, using their possession very wisely. Again, fuller, much more running in them than Kildare have at the moment, which is very, very understandable. But their support plays of a very, very high quality.
Now Roscommon thinking about another change. Ger Ahern from St. Bridget's is over there. He could be on shortly. Kildare haven't scored in this first period of extra time. Roscommon have been able to tack over 3 points. Now Nigel Dineen out in front. Morgan Byrne is down injured. He seems to be struggling at the moment. Gary Cox now. Didn't catch that one at all well. And the wides tally mounting up for Roscommon. That's 13. And Kildare have only kicked 6.
Yes, but the midfield area for Kildare at the moment is becoming quite fallow. They're finding it very difficult to get the ball forward.
No Alan Barry, no Anthony Rainbow, no Carl Ennis. And the referee has called things back. We're in stoppage time at the end of the first period of extra time. Three points between them. Killian Brennan. Now that's a free to Kildare. There was a high challenge in there. Mick Wright takes the free, but the referee is calling them back.
Yeah, he's becoming very finicky about this at the moment, about taking the free from the correct position. Certainly in the game in Belfast this year between Antrim and Tyrone, I saw the referee repeatedly doing this, but this is the first time since then that I saw this rule being enacted.
Carol Mannion. Brian Higgins. Again for Morgan Byrne, who seems to have recovered from his earlier knock. Inside to Gary Cox. A score now for Roscommon would be so crucial, but the ball was thrown, not fisted correctly, and that's a let-off for Kildare. The stoppage time at the end of this first period of extra time almost up. Eddie McCormack. Eddie McCormack playing it out wide. Now this is Padraig Brennan. They need a score. Haven't scored in extra time so far. They'll get a free. Foul by Michael Ryan. And Padraig Brennan is going to have a go at this. Paddy Murray was taken off earlier on. And indeed, it's now going to be Padraig Hurley who's going to have a go. Paddy Murray and John Doyle both off the Kildare team. So Padraig Hurley, it's a big ask for him. The angle suits the right-footed kicker, and this to bring them within 2. No matter how tired they are, if they could turn around here, just 2 points back, well, they wouldn't be all that displeased, and he's done it. Padraig Hurley with Kildare's first score in extra time.
Yeah, still all to play for, Dara. I must say 15 or 10 minutes to go in the second half. I'd say he'll blow for half-time now, but if Kildare can again re-establish some kind of a bridgehead at midfield, it could go anywhere.
So there you go, there's the whistle for the end of the first period of extra time. Roscommon 115, Kildare 16 points. That's they lost, and Roscommon have had 3 weeks to get ready for this. Roscommon have had 3 weeks to get ready for this. And here we go, Michael Collins throws the ball back in. Brian Higgins operating around midfield, plays it to Stephen Lohan. Remember, no Seamus O'Neill. He was sent off in normal time. That has to be a foul by Damien Hendy. The referee let it go. Nigel Dineen was dragged to the ground, it seemed. Ronan Sweeney. Sweeney saw his effort blocked down by Carol Mannion. Now Eddie McCormack, Glenn Ryan, that experienced duo combining to set them up once more. This is Terry Rossiter. It opens up for Rossiter. Has support outside from Fennon. Rossiter taking a lot out of the ball. Back inside to Padraig Brennan. He's got a foul and a free. And this will bring it back to just a 1-point game.
Yes, it's significant. The incision was made by the freshest man in the Kildare team, Terry Rossiter. Very, very good run forward by him.
Well, Padraig Brennan is going to take this free. You think of all those Roscommon wides at this stage now. Mistakes can't be tolerated. The defence made a mistake there. Padraig Brennan has put it over. And they are just a point behind in this qualifier. A place in the quarter-finals of the All-Ireland Series at stake. Roscommon 115, Kildare 17 points. John Rogers is coming on for Gary Cox on the Roscommon team. Nigel Dineen, Damien Hendy just behind him. Frankie Dolan is there. Dolan on the left boot. That's hanging an awful long time. Kept in play by Enda Murphy. Remember his fantastic save. It seems a long time ago now, but it was late in the game. Kildare move it forward. Terry Rossiter. Rossiter fouled by Brian Higgins. Free taken already. This is Derek McCormack. McCormack didn't get hold of it at all. That was a big chance for Kildare. Shane Curran again launches forward. He was fouled by Tyke Fennon, who's been booked. Curran is still down, but now he's back up on his feet, out of picture, as Kildare launch another attack. Padraig Brennan. Brennan being held by David Casey. And now the referee is heading back in. And is he going to check on the earlier incident? He's over talking to Derek McCormack. McCormack wasn't booked, but if that was for the trip on Shane Curran, well, it was Tyke Fennon who tripped him. And Fennon has got a yellow, and now he's gone. He's got a red now. Tyke Fennon was booked in normal time. Those yellow cards carry forward. And Tyke Fennon has been sent off, and Kildare are down to 14 men.
Yeah, he definitely booked a normal time. Second, the yellow card carries into extra time and definitely has to be sent off.
Well, this indeed was good refereeing, because the referee let play develop after this, because he saw this incident, put his arm up in the air. There really wasn't much in the challenge at all by Tyke Fennon.
Certainly, I don't think there was any contact made with the face.
And Shane Curran, well, he got up to his feet eventually, but Kildare are down to 14. Roscommon have the full quota of 15. Well won by Eamon Towie. Michael Ryan. Here come Roscommon. They just lead by a point. Carol Mannion. Mannion, a hit and hope, nothing more really at this stage. Here's Frankie Dolan. Dolan lets it outside. Jonathan Dunning was the intended target for John Rogers. Roscommon, though, still have the ball, and they've got a free. The Kildare supporters not happy at all. Andrew McLaughlin giving away a pretty soft free. This, well, they certainly won't be in the comfort zone if this goes over from Frankie Dolan. He throws the gloves to the ground again to set himself up.
Yeah, I think maybe they dived in that time as he was about to take his kick and again give away the free. Excellent opportunity for Frankie Dolan.
Sun causing everybody problems here, including Frankie, as he tries to line this up. 6 out of 10 frees he scored. Make that 7 out of 11. Well, you have to call it a grand total for the evening, is now 11. He scored 4 points in extra time so far. It's Roscommon 116, Kildare 17 points. And I wonder, is that score, Martin, the most crucial of all? Kildare got to within a point, Roscommon pulling away.
Yeah, well, it's a heartbreak for Kildare, but they've shown great character up to now, and I wouldn't put it past them still to pull it out of the fire. But certainly the advantage is with Roscommon.
But it's Kildare on the attack. Michael Ryan tried to get to that, but couldn't. Terry Rossiter sets himself up. The Kildare fans like it. That's a great score. Terry Rossiter with a superb response. One of the substitutes doing the business for Padraig Nolan and for Kildare. This is his first year on the championship panel. Set up beautifully. And on the left boot, well, it was always going over. That's some response. They have great spirit, Kildare. They'll fight all the way.
Yeah, that's confidence for you. And again, the fact that he has fresh legs certainly is a great advantage to Kildare.
Short kick out again from Shane Curran. Not long to go. 10-minute periods of extra time, remember. Morgan Byrne. Mick Wright trying to get out in front of John Tiernan. Line ball to Roscommon. Remember, if we're still level at the end of extra time, it'll go to a replay, which would make tomorrow night's draw for the quarterfinals interesting, with Roscommon and Kildare still in it. But at the moment, it's Roscommon who lead by a point. Frankie Dolan taking the line ball, drops in, tempting for the forwards, taken by Eamon Callaghan. Enda Murphy. Derek McCormack. Is there to be a winner here in Portlaoise tonight? Two sides have given their all. Eddie McCormack. David Casey can't get near Padraig Brennan. Kildare down to 14 after Tyke Fennan was sent off. And, well, Padraig Brennan was a touch unlucky there, lost control. Francie Grehan. Michael Ryan. David Casey struggling with cramp at this stage. They've all put in such a massive effort. This is John Rogers. Another free. Kildare have given away some soft frees here. That time it was Eamon Callaghan who gives it away. David Casey being treated for cramp. Well, David Lyons is coming back on to the Kildare 15. Killian Brennan is going off. Frankie Dolan to go to 12 points in the match so far. And that looks really good from Frankie Dolan. It's an absolute screamer. 12 points. You may give him the crystal now.
Certainly that's very assured place kicking under a lot of pressure. Great score once again. Player certainly in the top of his form.
A 2-point game again. This is Mick Wright of Kildare. Offaly in that qualifier caught Roscommon with a late goal. But it doesn't look good now for Kildare as Padraig Hurley fouls the ball on the ground. Kildare need a late goal.
Yes, and it's hard to see them getting it, Dara, because they're finding it very difficult to get the ball up the field. And I must say the full back line of, I think, Ray Cox, David Casey and Mick Ryan are playing very, very well at the moment for Roscommon.
Well, goals have been the problem for Kildare in the championship. They've only scored 2 and conceded 5. Well, now 6 if you include the one from John Tiernan tonight. But they need one now more than ever, or their championship 2003 is over. That's Padraig Hurley. He's suffering from cramp as well. Let's just remind you of the score. Roscommon 117, Kildare 18 points, and we're heading into the last minute of the second period of extra time. It's been a titanic struggle between these two. We thought it was going to be hard to pick a winner, so it proved. Morgan Byrne of Roscommon. Could they seal it with another fantastic point? Well, they're going in towards John Rogers. Jonathan Dunning there. Frankie Dolan. The angle almost impossible. Has he done it again? Yes, he has! Unbelievable from Frankie Dolan. I'm sure if he tried that 100 times, he'd miss most of the 100. That is incredible. On the right boot, they lead by 3, and surely as it boils over again, Roscommon are into the quarter-finals now, Martin.
Well, certainly they'll erect a statue to him in Roscommon after a score like that. He's absolutely on fire tonight. He just turned that time onto his right foot from an impossible angle and just instinctively and with the utmost confidence fired it over the bar. Great score.
And Kildare, well, they want to restart the game. The referee, is he signalling that the game is over? No, certainly not. There is still time. 13 points for Frankie Dolan after a few bad wides earlier on. He really has saved the best wine till last. A 3-point game. We're into stoppage time. Kildare want to make another change. 3 points in it, in extra time. The difference has been a certain F. Dolan, wearing number 15 for Roscommon. Free to Kildare. They need a goal. 1 extra minute. That's almost been played at this stage. Glenn Ryan. They have to get a goal. They'll try and work it in as close as they can get. Padraig Brennan, they've got a free. Yes. Now just lob it in.
Yeah, goal or nothing. It has to go in around the house and hope for the best at the end of it. That somebody will get their fist and deflect it to the net. This is it.
It is all or nothing for Kildare. They're 3 points down. The stoppage time is up. A minute of that, more than that has been played. Padraig Brennan, a point is no good. Thought Kildare would have more players in around the square, to be honest. Now they move them in. This will be the last action of this qualifier, and Brennan has gone for the point. Well, it's a very good point, but there can't be any time left for Padraig Brennan. They brought it back to within 2, but a goal was what was required right there.
Yeah, I don't think anybody communicated to him the actual importance of that kick, because had he known that there was time nearly up, he would have put that ball into the square.
Well, here is the scene. Shane Curran will not be in any hurry at all to take this. They beat Cork by a point. They beat Leitrim by a point. They needed extra time to get past Offaly. They're in extra time against Kildare. Kildare need the ball quickly. It's all over. And Roscommon have beaten Kildare. And they are in to the All-Ireland quarter-finals at the start of the year. Many thought they were the dark horses of the championship. Well, they're still there. They're in the last 8. And Frankie Dolan had the game of his life here this evening. You think of the despair that Des Dolan suffered for Westmeath. It's his cousin when he missed that late free against Meath. Well, it is a proud night for the Dolan family here. 13 points for Frankie Dolan. He really is the man tonight.
Absolutely man of the match in every sense of the word, but you must have great sympathy for Kildare, who gave their all in an enthralling contest. Players like Glenn Ryan, maybe playing in his last game ever for Kildare, was absolutely majestic throughout, giving leadership. But certainly at the end of the day, I think the extra man and the fact that they had a game last weekend told against Kildare ultimately.
The full-time score after an enthralling game, one of the best of the year. Roscommon 118, Kildare 19 points. It's Roscommon who are through.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. As